mother didn't expect to have anything to do with the Christmas pageant, except to make me and my brother Charlie be in it. We didn't want to. And to make my father go to it, he didn't want to. Actually, he went every year, but it was always a struggle. And my mother said that it was her contribution to the pageant, getting my father to go to it. Of course, no one ever thought of the Herdmans in connection with the Christmas pageant. The Herdmans were absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. They lied and stole and smoked cigars, even the girls, and talked dirty and hit little kids and cussed their teachers and took the name of the Lord in vain. Most of us spent all week in school being pounded and poked and pushed around by the Herdmans, and we looked forward to Sunday as a real day of rest.
You have to say it right out loud in front of everybody.
Why not, Dad? It's the best thing about Sunday school.
What's the best thing about Sunday school?
There are any Herdmans there, ever.
And Charlie felt he had to share that with the whole Sunday school. Not a very Christian sentiment.
But a very practical one. Charlie was black and blue all last year because he had to sit next to Leroy Herdman in school.
You were the worst ones?
They're all the worst ones.
Gladys put worms in your lunchbox, inside your sandwich.
And Claude let all the mice out.
Oh, come on, you guys. 6 little kids. It can't be that bad.
My father is wrong. No one is worse than the Herdmans. They are so all-around awful you can hardly believe they are real. Ralph, Imogene, Leroy, Claude, Ollie, and Gladys. 6 stringy-haired kids, all alike except for being different sizes and having different black and blue places where they clunked each other. The Herdmans didn't know where their father was. When Gladys was only 2 years old, he hopped aboard a railroad train and disappeared. No one blamed him. Now and then you see Mrs. Herdman walking their cat around the block on this big long chain. But she works 2 shifts at the shoe factory and isn't home much. No one blamed her either. We figured they were all headed straight to the devil by the way of the state penitentiary.
Now remember, you 2 trials for the Christmas pageant are coming up.
I don't want to be a shepherd.
Then tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
Think how I'd feel sitting there on Christmas Eve with my own 2 kids not in the pageant. Think how your father would feel. You'd feel terrible, wouldn't you, Bob?
No.
You know Mrs. Armstrong works very hard to give everyone a lovely experience.
Oh, Mom, she just likes to run things.
What happened?
Helen Armstrong, she got all tangled up in that telephone cord. She has fell down the stairs and broke her leg.
I wonder what they're going to do about all the things she's in charge of.
I'll take over the bazaar, Edna, if you'll do the potluck supper. I don't know what we'll do about the pageant, unless...
I just can't, Edna. I've got company all Christmas week. How about Grace?
So glad you called. How about Grace?
Hello, Grace?
I have to direct the Christmas pageant.
You have my sympathy.
Is that all?
No, you can also have my bathrobe for a shepherd.
And?
Nope, that's it, Grace. Sympathy in a bathrobe.
It's not like I don't have enough to do already. Spectorama, jinglicious, tinsel, ribbonismus. Things we do this time of year to take the place of Christmas. It's the fact the birthday of the king is somehow missed us. Spectorama, jinglicious, tinsel, ribbonismus. We shop for cards and trees and such in snow and sleet and ice. When Santa says be good, we try to take his sound advice. There's traffic at the shopping malls that no one can believe, and packages that must be wrapped in time for Christmas Eve. Oh, Spectorama, jinglicious, tinsel, ribbonismus. Things we do this time of year to take the place of Christmas. It's the fact the birthday of the king is somehow missed us. Spectorama, jinglicious, tinsel, ribbonismus. A coat for Mama, tie for Dad, a dress for Guinevere. And don't forget the card for John, he sent us one last year. With lights to hang
that looks good. What is it? My mom made brownies yesterday. Bet Leroy Herman will get it. I heard your mother's going to direct a Christmas pageant. Yeah. I hope you're going to be in the angel choir again. You're so good in the angel choir. Don't worry, Alice. I don't want to be Mary. I don't even want to be in the angel choir, but everybody has to be something.
Sure, kid. Here.
You stole my dessert again.
How do you know?
Because it isn't fair.
What was it?
2 brownies.
That's right. That's what it was.
Hey, Leroy, do you want my dessert tomorrow or the next day? You can have it. I'll get all the dessert I want at church. Chocolate cake, cookies, ice cream. We get refreshments all the time.
Oh, yeah? Who gives them to you?
The minister.
Why? Is he crazy?
No, I think he's rich.
You guessed it, the following Sunday the Herdmans showed up in church because of Charlie's big lie. Before the service was even over, they cleared out the collection plates, scribbled on the hymnals, and stuck gum all over the pews. It so happened that this was the Sunday for Reverend Hopkins' annual announcement.
We'll be starting rehearsal soon for our annual children's Christmas pageant. And next week after Sunday school, we'll decide who will play the main roles. We hope every boy and girl who wants to take part in this year's play will be there.
Imogen dug me in the ribs after church and asked me about the pageant. I told her it was about Jesus. She muttered, "Everything here is." And I figured she didn't much care about the pageant, but I was wrong.
I just can't begin to tell you how important it is to give everyone a chance. I always start with Mary. I tell them Mary was the mother of Jesus, and we must choose our Mary carefully.
I know that, Helen. It's going to be a long time. Mom says go ahead.
Of course, Alice Wilderkin's always Mary. They know that, but you must make the rest of them feel important.
Helen, I have to go.
I always say there are no small parts, only small actors.
I'm hanging up now, Helen.
And don't let the angel choir wear lipstick.
Goodbye, Helen.
Use bath salts for frankincense, because no one knows what frankincense.
I bet she told you about no small parts, only small actors.
And getting someone to shove the baby angels on, make the shepherd shut up.
Yes, she suggested your father.
Does that mean I have to go?
All right, everyone, let's settle down so we can choose who will play the main parts in our pageant. All right, of course, you'll all have important parts. You know what Mrs. Armstrong always says, there are no small parts, only small actors.
But she never says what it means.
Don't you know what it means?
I know what it means. It means that the short kids have to sit in the front row or else nobody can see them.
Well, not exactly. It means that the littlest baby angel is as important as Mary.
I don't think anyone is as important as Mary.
Oh, everyone is important. Mary, Joseph, and the short kids. Now, all you baby angels are going to need bed sheets from home, so be sure to tell your mothers. The angel choir will wear the red robes from last year. Let's just make room for the Herdmans. All right, there will be 4 rehearsals, so it's important for everyone to come to all the rehearsals.
What if we get sick?
You won't get sick, Hobie. Mary, Joseph, and the wise men must absolutely come to every rehearsal.
What if they get sick?
They won't get sick either, Hobie. Now let's talk about the characters. Mary was quiet and gentle and kind, so the sort of girl we need to play Mary needs to be that kind of person. Imogen, did you have a question?
Hey, I'll be Mary, and Rolf over there, he'll be the Joseph.
Well, I was really asking for volunteers, Imogen, and then I'll decide who it will be. Imogen wants to play Mary. Who else wants to be Mary? Just raise your hands. Janet, Roberta, how about you? Alice, don't you want to volunteer this year?
No, I don't want to.
I'll be Mary.
Shut up, Gladys. I'm already Mary. You'll be a wise guy. Wise man.
It's an old guy with a beard. I'll be a wise man.
Me too. Oh, you want to be a wise guy? Raise your hand.
What's left to be?
Some angel.
What is it?
It's the angel of the Lord who brings the good news to the shepherds.
I'll be that.
Oh, good. We have some volunteers. Kobe, would you like to be a wise man?
I just like to say I can't be a shepherd. We're going to Philadelphia.
Well, why didn't you say so before?
I just remembered. My mother doesn't want me to be a shepherd.
Why not?
I don't know. She just said don't be a shepherd. I don't want to be a shepherd either. Gladys Herdman hits too hard.
I'm not going to be a shepherd.
Oh, yes, you are. I don't want to hear another word about it. No shepherds may quit or get sick.
Volunteer. Imogen would have killed me. She got me in the ladies' room and said, I'm going to be Mary in this play. If you open your mouth or raise your hand, you're going to wish you didn't. Because if you do, next spring, when the pussy willows come out, I'm going to stick a pussy willow so far down your ear where nobody can reach it. It'll sprout there and grow and grow and grow. You'll spend the rest of your life with a pussy willow growing out of your ear.
She wouldn't do that.
She would too. Herdmans will do anything. They'll ruin the penitent, and it's all your mother's fault. She should have told them no.
What kind of girl is that to play Mary, Mother of Jesus?
It's sacrilegious.
So I told her if you can't get rid of them, why don't you just have them hand out programs at the door?
We'd better nail down that church.
And lock up the silverware.
Reverend Hopkins, I'd like to know, I feel so responsible. If I wasn't laid up in this hospital, this never
would have happened. That woman, she must be surprised that the sun is still coming up every morning without her to supervise the sunrise. Let me tell you.
Don't tell me. I'm on your side.
Helen Armstrong is not the only woman alive who can run a Christmas pageant. I'm going to make this the best Christmas pageant ever, and I'm going to do it with the Herdmans.
The Herdmans were the closest things to criminals that we knew about, and they were going to represent the best and most beautiful. No wonder everyone was so worked up. Reverend Hopkins got fed up with all the complaints and told everybody where to get off. Of course, he didn't say, go jump in the lake, Mrs. Wendelton, or anything like that. He just reminded everyone that when Jesus said, suffer the little children and come unto me, Jesus meant all the little children, including Herdmans. So that shut everybody up, and the next Wednesday we started rehearsals.
All right, everyone. I need the shepherds over here, please. Baby angels, you're fine right where you are. Try not to shove or push each other. Our manger's over there. Our inn is over here, everybody.
Where do all the shepherds come from anyways?
Yeah, and what's an inn?
It's like a motel. Why'd they go there?
At a motel?
Shut up, Leroy. Hey, begin at the beginning. What happened first?
This is the Christmas story from the Bible, the book of Luke.
Luke who?
You mean you've never read the Christmas story from the Bible? Wow, that's what this Christmas pageant is all about. Sit down. I'm going to read it to you. It's a beautiful story. We should all hear it again. Mary and Joseph also went out of Galilee into Judea, the city of David, to be taxed with Mary, his wife, who was great with child.
What's that?
It means she was pregnant. She was pregnant.
I don't think it's very nice to say that Mary's pregnant.
Well, she was.
It's better to say great with child. I'm not supposed to talk about people being pregnant, especially in church.
And she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn.
There wasn't any room for Jesus?
Well, they didn't know he was going to be Jesus.
Didn't Mary know? Didn't he know? What was the matter with Joseph that he didn't tell them? Her being pregnant and everything.
What's a manger, like a bed?
Well, they didn't have any bed in the barn, so Mary did the best thing she could. What would you do if you had a newborn baby and no bed to put him in?
We put Gladys in a dresser drawer.
Oh, there you see. You didn't have any bed for Gladys.
Oh,
and so...
he had a bed, only Ollie was still in it, and he wouldn't get out. He didn't like Gladys. Remember how you didn't like Gladys, Ollie?
A manger is a large wooden feeding box for animals.
What was the wired up clothes? You read about it. They wrapped them up in wired up clothes.
Swaddling clothes. People used to wrap their babies tightly in a big piece of material.
You mean they tied them up and put them in a feed box? Where was the child welfare? The child welfare is at our house every 5 minutes.
There wasn't any child welfare in Bethlehem.
I'll say there wasn't. What's next?
There were shepherds keeping watch by night, and lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them.
Shazam!
What?
Out of the black night with horrible vengeance. The mighty Marvel.
Gladys, I don't know what you're talking about.
The mighty Marvel in Wonder Comics.
No, this is the angel of the Lord who comes to the shepherds.
Out of nowhere, right? In the black night, right?
Well, yes, in a way.
Shazam!
She makes the Christmas story sound something out of Close Encounters.
It was a close encounter of sorts. It was a close encounter of a very special kind. star maker.
He is a light bearer.
He is the power that holds the world together.
He is lying in a manger.
Raise your hands. Listen to this now. There came wise men from the east, bearing gifts of gold, frankincense.
What is frankincense?
I don't know.
There were special gifts, precious oil.
Oil? What kind of a gift is oil? We get better presents in the welfare basket. I get it. The wise men were the welfare.
No, they were sent by King Herod.
Wait a minute. Who's he?
What about him? What did he do?
Well, he sent them to find Jesus so that they could put him to death.
He just got born. They're gonna kill a baby.
Who's Herod in this play?
Herod isn't in this play.
You mean he's out to kill the baby and he isn't even in the play?
Well, no.
Well, somebody better be Herod.
No, Imogene. We're going to do the pageant the way...
Let Charlie be Herod. And he says, get me that baby. And they do it, 'cause he's king and all.
But then they don't do it. They go back and get Herod.
Take that, Herod. Take that.
I'm not going to be Herod.
No one's going to be Herod.
No, Joseph takes the shepherds and they go wipe out Herod.
See? Forget about Herod. That's gonna be kill.
Forget about Herod. There is no Herod.
And I run away with the baby till the fight's over.
Children, listen to me. Stop that. No.
Imogene. 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 Oh.
Well, I wouldn't just hang around with that baby in a barn in the middle of winter. I'd go kick somebody out of the motel.
I wouldn't take dumb gifts like oil either.
Yeah, and if I were a king, I wouldn't be born in a crummy barn and put in a feed box. If I were a king, I'd sit on a throne, I'd make the world bow down to me. Wearing my crown, I'd gather them round, and all together they would tell me how it would be. If I were a king, I'd be the best king. I'd make degrees and win the wars. Marching so tall, I'd conquer it all, and I would give my people something to cheer about. Never so poor or so lowly. My riches and wealth, they'd all come to see. If I were a king, this is how it would be. A king I'd be, the best one ever. A king I'd be. It wouldn't happen like this, no, never, never. If I were a king, a great king I'd be over the world. They know my name, shouting it out without a doubt. I make them all remember the greatest of kings is me. Not in a town like this, Bethlehem, Jerusalem fine. Yes, that's for me. If I were a king, this is how it would be. If I were a king, this is how it would be.
What's the name of this play anyway? She never said.
The Christmas Pageant. That's no name, that's what it is. I know a name. I call it Revenge at Bethlehem.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand the Herdmans. You would have thought the Christmas story came right out of the FBI files. They got so involved in it, wanted a bloody end to Herod, worried about Mary having her baby in a barn, and called the wise men a bunch of dirty spies. They left the first rehearsal arguing about whether Joseph should have set fire to the inn or just chased the innkeeper into the next country.
Tell me all about it.
Just suppose you'd never heard the Christmas story, didn't know anything about it, and then somebody told it to you. What would you think?
Well, I think it's pretty disgraceful. They couldn't find any room for a pregnant woman except in a stable.
Exactly. It was perfectly disgraceful, and I never thought about it much. You hear so much about the nice warm stable and the sweet-smelling hay, but that doesn't change the fact that they put Mary in a barn. It's clear to me that deep down those children have some good instincts after all.
I don't know. It sounds like their chief instinct was to burn Herod at the stake.
No, their chief instinct was to get Mary and the baby out of the barn. But even so, it was Herod they wanted to do away with, and not Mary or Joseph. They picked out the right villain. That must mean something.
Maybe so.
I was amazed. It didn't seem natural for my father to be on the same side as the Herdmans. But then, it didn't seem natural for the Herdmans to be on the right side of things. It would have made more sense for them to be on Herod's side. All the people who kept hoping the Herdmans would get bored and leave were out of luck. The Herdmans showed up right on time for rehearsals and did whatever they were told. But they were still Herdmans. There was one person who wouldn't forget that for a minute. Alice, what is it you're writing in that notebook? No baby because of the imaging? Gladys drinks communion wine? It isn't wine, it's grape juice. I don't care what it is. She drinks it. I've seen her 3 times with her mouth all purple. They steal crayons from the Sunday school cupboards, too. And they shake the happy birthday bag in the kindergarten room. It doesn't make a sound. They steal all the money out of that. How do you think to shake the happy birthday bag? And when you go in the ladies' room, the whole air is blue, and Imogen Herman is sitting there in Mary's costume smoking cigars. And you wrote all this down? What for? For my mother and Reverend Hopkins and the ladies' aid and whoever else who wants to know what happens when the whole Christmas pageant turns out to be a disaster.
Imogene. Take this until we get a real baby.
I thought Eugene Slocum was going to be Jesus.
Mrs. Slocum changed her mind.
If I was Mary, Mrs. Slocum wouldn't have changed her mind.
I'll get us a baby. There's always 2 or 3 babies outside the supermarket. I'll get one.
No, Imogene, you can't just go and take someone's baby. Just use the doll. You know you're all supposed to be in costume.
But I don't have any wings. And my mom doesn't have any white sheets. Can I wear one with balloons on it?
Yes, we'll have to find wings for both of you. Imogene, you know Mary would never wear earrings.
But I got my ears pierced. And if I don't keep something in them, they'll grow together.
They won't grow together in an hour and a half. Who pierced your ears?
Gladys?
His underwear.
Walk slowly, quietly. Beautiful.
I've got the baby here. Don't touch him. I named him Jesus.
Imogene, no, Mary doesn't say anything. Mary and Joseph say nothing. They just sit there and make a lovely picture for everyone to look at and think about what Christmas meant. Now go put the doll back in the manger.
She didn't even get to name her own baby. I would have named him Bill.
Let's take a 5-minute break and then we'll start over.
Nobody knew what had happened, including the Herdmans, but I guess they figured whatever it was, they had done it, so they left. "Why in the world did you call the fire department?" my mother asked Mrs. McCarthy when she finally heard the whole story. Mrs. McCarthy stuck to the defense that she wasn't expecting to find cigar smoke in the ladies' room. Mrs. McCarthy didn't know the Herdmans very well. It turned out to be the one great big sinful thing Alice kept hoping for. Mrs. Wendelkin read Alice's notes, got on the telephone that very night, and called everyone she could think of, including Reverend Hopkins.
I've been on the telephone all day. People think they set fire to the ladies' room. People think they set fire to the kitchen. Vera Wendelkin says all they talk about is sex and underwear.
That was Hobie Carmichael.
It might just be better all around to cancel the pageant.
I bet that was Helen Armstrong's idea.
We could blame it on the fire.
There wasn't any fire. The committee let their applesauce cake burn up.
It would be a perfect excuse.
I bet that was Helen Armstrong's idea. Well, I didn't ask to run the pageant, but I got stuck with it, and I certainly didn't handpick the Herdmans. But no one else volunteered. I don't think we should cancel it. I think it's going to be the best Christmas pageant ever.
Grace, I don't think anyone will come to see it.
You know, it always looks like this when it's empty, big, and bare.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's not going to be completely empty. Look at me. I came.
It's not going to be full either. Where are the kids?
All the kids in the world are downstairs putting on bed sheets.
I mean our kids.
We're here.
You better get your costumes on. It's getting late.
Oh, Mom, do we have to?
It's just going to be awful, you know. We were already down there and saw them. They look like refugees or something.
Well, that's what they were. Refugees. They're a long way from home. They didn't know anybody. They're probably cold, messy, and hungry, too.
I don't know about cold and hungry, but they're sure messy.
unto you a child is born. That's all you tell them.
Unto me. I'm the one who had the baby.
Unto all of us. That's what it means. Unto everyone. Come on, Gladys. Go on. Go on. Now, Imogene, try to remember that this is a baby. And for tonight, the baby Jesus.
Ever since I saw you, I just wanted to do one thing. That's to tell you I love you. Just can't seem to find a way. Just can't find the words to say that will tell how I really feel. Long before I found you here, I wondered how I feel. If ever I would meet you, if your promises were real. And just as I imagined, it's greater than I dreamed. All I can say to you today is thank you, and it seems that ever since I saw you, I just wanted to do one thing. That's to tell you I love you. Just can't seem to find a way. Just can't find the words to say that will tell how I really feel. Ever since I saw you, I just wanted to do one thing.
she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
It suddenly occurred to me that this was just the way it must have been for the real Holy Family, stuck away in a barn by people who didn't much care what happened to them. They couldn't have been very neat and tidy either, but more like this, Mary and Joseph. Imogene had the baby doll, but she wasn't carrying it the way she was supposed to, cradled in her arms. She had it slung up over her shoulder, and before she put it in the manger, she thumped it twice on the back. Alice gasped and said, "I don't think it's very nice to burp baby Jesus as if he had colic." I didn't know why not. After all, that was the whole point of Jesus, that he didn't come down on a cloud like something out of amazing comics, but that he was born and lived, a real person.
And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. The angel of the Lord came upon them. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were so afraid when the angel of the Lord appeared to them and said, "Fear not."
Hey, on to you, a child is born, and it's Jesus, and he's in the barn. Go on, go on out. What do you want? What do you feel
And there came wise men from the east, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have saw a star in the east and have come to worship him.
Shepherds, don't be afraid. I bring you good tidings of joy. This night is born in Bethlehem a Savior, a baby boy. And this shall be a sign unto you, a sign unto you today. You will find the babe wrapped in cloth and lying upon the hay. Glory, glory to God in the highest. Glory, glory to God. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Peace on earth to men of good will. Glory to God in the highest. Peace on earth to men of good will. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
And they found the child with Mary, and falling down to worship him, they brought him gifts of gold, frankincense, and ham. And then being warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, the wise men returned to their own country another way. The shepherds did the same, praising God for all they had heard and seen. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart.
Gifts of the wise men, three gifts of the wise men. Oh, what can these wondrous gifts
to me that the Herdmans had improved the pageant a lot, just by doing what came naturally, like burping the baby, for instance, or thinking a ham would make a better present than a lot of perfumed oil. Usually by the time we got to Silent Night, I was fed up with the whole thing and couldn't wait for it to be over. But I didn't feel that way this time. I almost wished the pageant would go on with the Herdmans in charge to see what else they would do that was different. I looked at Imogen and couldn't believe my eyes. Everyone had been waiting all this time for the Herdmans to do something absolutely unexpected, and sure enough, that was what happened. Imogen Herdman was crying. In the candlelight, her face was all shining with tears, and she didn't even bother to wipe them away. She just sat there, awful old Imogen in her crookedy veil, crying and crying and crying. And this was the funny thing about it all. For years I'd thought about the wonder of Christmas and the mystery of Jesus' birth and never really understood it. But now, because of the Herdmans, it didn't seem so mysterious after all.
Well, that's it. It's quite a pageant. What's that you've got?
It's the ham. They wouldn't take it back. Leroy said it was a present and that you don't take back presents. I think it's the first thing they've ever given away. They didn't take any of the candy or the little Bibles either. But Imogen did ask me for a set of Bible story pictures and took the ones of Mary and said that they were exactly right, whatever that means.
Oh, come on, kids. Let's go home.
Well, it was the best Christmas pageant we ever had. Everyone said so, but nobody knew why. When it was all over, people stood around the lobby of the church talking about what was new this year. There was something special, everyone said, but they couldn't put their finger on what. When Imogen had asked me what the pageant was about, I told her it was about Jesus. But there's more. It was about a newborn baby and his mother and father who were in a whole lot of trouble. No money, no food, no place to go, no doctor, nobody they knew. But I guess Imogen didn't see it that way. Christmas just came all over her, as if she had just caught on to the idea of God and the wonder of Christmas. As far as I'm concerned, Mary will always be like Imogen Herdman, sort of nervous and bewildered, and the wise men will always be like Leroy and his brothers, bearing ham. I guess the reason this is the best Christmas pageant ever was because being a part of it made Christmas happen inside of me. Make me a celebration, let Christmas happen in me. Fill me with wonder that Jesus has come. I know you can make me a grand celebration, so show me the joy of Christmas. Help me to give it away. Oh, fill me with wonder that Jesus has come, and make me a grand celebration.
let's just remain standing for a moment. I've appreciated all these boys and girls, and the time and energy that they've put in. Appreciate that round of applause for them. They've been working on this musical since back in September, and regular rehearsals for all the choir and special rehearsals for all the kids in the drama. As you noticed, they memorized all their parts. I'm not sure how many of you would be able to do that, but they worked real hard at it. I want to say a big thank you to all the other people that helped to put this together, those involved in the sound and lighting and video, behind stage here helping with costuming and so many things. I would like to say a very special thank you to Bill and Dawn Carlson. And I know Bill's up there in the control booth, but Bill, I want you to make your way down here, if you would. Just come on down here for a moment. And we want to say a special thank you to you and Dawn, wherever you are, I'd like for you to come on out too. And we want to say a special thank you to them. They are the people really that put this all together. And they started working on this really, I think, when we finished last year's Christmas program. And they began writing the script based from the book and movie, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. And we just want to say a special thank you to Dawn and Bill for all the work that they put in, not only in writing the script, but being here to direct all the drama involved in putting this together. So we just want to say thank you to you, Dawn and Bill.
I'd just like to thank all you parents for giving birth to these wonderful children. They all deserve a special round of applause. Can we have the main characters come out that are still backstage that weren't able to join the choir? Can you come out here? Come out here. Thank you all. You've been a very patient audience. It's 5 after 12. I would like to give Gladys one more opportunity to say her last line because they didn't catch her with the spotlight. Can you do that?
Hey, hey, unto you a child is born.
And they found the child with Mary, and falling down to worship him, they brought him gifts of gold, frankincense, and ham. And then being warned in a dream that they should not return to Herod, the wise men returned to their own country another way. The shepherds did the same, praising God for all they had heard and seen. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart.
Gifts of the wise men, 3 gifts of the wise men. Oh, what can these wondrous gifts be? One for his kingship, and one for his lordship, and one for his death on the tree. From out of the east come the wise men to Bethlehem. Great are the gifts that they bring. The first one brings gold to the child in the manger, to recognize him as king. Gifts of the wise men, gifts of the wise men. Oh, what can these wondrous gifts be? One for his kingship, and one for his lordship, and one for his death on the tree. The frankincense shows that the child is the Son of God. Through him is God glorified. And myrrh's a reminder of what is to follow. Someday the Savior must die. Gifts of the wise men, 3 gifts of the wise men. Oh, what can these wondrous gifts be? One for his kingship, and one for his lordship, and one for his death on the tree. Gifts, gifts, gifts of the infant King. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is light. Round young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sweet silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild,
It seemed to me that the Herdmans had improved the pageant a lot, just by doing what came naturally, like burping the baby, for instance, or thinking a ham would make a better present than a lot of perfumed oil. Usually by the time we got to Silent Night, I was fed up with the whole thing and couldn't wait for it to be over. But I didn't feel that way this time. I almost wish the pageant would go on with the Herdmans in charge to see what else they would do that was different. I looked at Imogene and couldn't believe my eyes. Everyone had been waiting all this time for the Herdmans to do something absolutely unexpected, and sure enough, that was what happened. Imogene Herdman was crying. In the candlelight, her face was all shining with tears, and she didn't even bother to wipe them away. She just sat there, awful old Imogene in her crookedy veil, crying and crying and crying. And this was the funny thing about it all. For years I'd thought about the wonder of Christmas and the mystery of Jesus' birth and never really understood it. But now, because of the Herdmans, it didn't seem so mysterious after all.
Well, that's it. It's quite a pageant. What's that you've got?
It's the ham. They wouldn't take it back. Leroy said it was a present and that you don't take back presents. I think it's the first thing they've ever given away. They didn't take any of the candy or the little Bibles either. But Imogene did ask me for a set of Bible story pictures and took the ones of Mary and said that they were exactly right, whatever that means.
Oh, come on, kids. Let's go home.
Well, it was the best Christmas pageant we ever had. Everyone said so, but nobody knew why. When it was all over, people stood around the lobby of the church talking about what was new this year. There was something special, everyone said, but they couldn't put their finger on what. When Imogen had asked me what the pageant was about, I told her it was about Jesus. But there's more. It was about a newborn baby and his mother and father who were in a whole lot of trouble. No money, no food, no place to go, no doctor, nobody they knew. But I guess Imogene didn't see it that way. Christmas just came all over her as if she had just caught on to the idea of God and the wonder of Christmas. As far as I'm concerned, Mary will always be like Imogene Herdman, sort of nervous and bewildered, and the wise men will always be like Leroy and his brothers, bearing ham. I guess the reason this is the best Christmas pageant ever was because being a part of it made Christmas happen inside of me. Make me a celebration, let Christmas happen in me. Fill me with wonder that Jesus has come. I know you can make me a grand celebration, so show me the joy of Christmas. Help me to give it away. Oh, fill me with wonder that Jesus has come and make me a grand
let's just